From ear-splitting jet roars, to action, humor, suspense, to adrenaline, romance, and unshakable friendship, Top Gun: Maverick was the movie of the year.
Phoenix Bob, punch out! Punch out!
With every scene, a masterclass in thrill-making unfolded cinematic dogfights that made your pulse race, heartfelt moments that tugged at your emotions, and just the right amount of nostalgia to make longtime fans immersed. But while audiences were hooked and couldn't get enough of the film, the cast was carrying secrets, hidden details, and behind-the-scenes truths that slipped right under most viewers' radar. In this video, the Top Gun cast reveals what most fans never figured out that will leave you surprised. Tom Cruise.
Because when you see the film, it's all practical action. She's in an F-18.
The film's authenticity came down to Tom's obsession with getting it right, and his behind-the-scenes involvement went far beyond showing up to act as the character Maverick. He practically re-engineered how the movie was made. From day one, Cruise knew that the sequel had to outdo the original in every way. That started with designing a custom aviation training program himself. Yes, the star of the movie personally created the pilot boot camp for his co-stars. Cruise understood that nothing could fake the way a real pilot's body moves under G-force, or how their eyes scan the horizon in the cockpit. So he built a step-by-step course for other actors in the film, beginning with single-engine Cessnas, moving up to high-performance prop planes, and eventually transitioning the actors into Navy FA-18s. This wasn't just to prepare them physically, it was to hardwire their instincts so they looked and thought like real aviators on camera. In fact, he shared in an interview that he had to dedicate years of studying aviation to make sure the film was as realistic as possible. According to Tom, he insisted on shooting certain flight scenes at just 30 feet above the ground. Safety officers raised eyebrows. Insurance executives practically broke into a sweat, but he wouldn't budge. He revealed that those low-altitude sequences would inject a visceral thrill no one could fake. And when you see jets skimming the ground in the final cut, your heart racing. That's the direct result of Cruise's push to put the audience in the danger zone, literally.
We had to figure out how we were going to get the cameras in there. We hired incredible actors.
That's not all. Tom also shared that in order to make those shots possible, he spearheaded the development of specialized IMAX quality cameras built to withstand crushing G-forces and extreme speeds. 6 of these were mounted inside each cockpit, capturing every beat of sweat, every shift of light, every muscle tightening under strain during the in-flight scenes of actors. These cameras didn't just film the actors, they put the audience in the pilot's seat.
And I got to do that 6 times.
Here's even more surprising, and Tom Cruise fought harder for this more than almost anything else. The moment Maverick gets cut off from the aircraft carrier mid-mission. It wasn't in the original Top Gun, and Cruise had always felt its absence. He believed that showing this would be a rare, high-stakes glimpse into the chaos and vulnerability of naval aviation. He didn't just want to film it, he wanted to nail it. That meant shooting it 6 separate times, under different conditions, tweaking everything from the lighting to the exact rhythm of the scene until it achieved the gut punch he envisioned.
Took them through editing and lighting.
Tom wasn't content with average. He was so obsessed with crafting the perfect look inside the cockpits, filming at certain angles, how shadows would fall across the actors' faces during high-speed turns, and how each cut could keep adrenaline pumping without disorienting the audience that he had to teach the other actors cinematography, editing, and lighting. There were no live camera feeds transmitting down to the ground, no convenient monitors where directors could watch and direct. Tom shared that once the jets left the deck, the actors were completely on their own. They were literally their own directors, responsible for delivering the performance, hitting the right camera angles, and staying in character, all while enduring crushing air forces. The only way for the filmmakers to review a take was to wait until the jets landed, remove the footage from the onboard cameras, and watch it back on the ground, hours after the scene had been filmed. This meant there was zero room for sloppy preparation. Every detail had to be thought through in advance because mid-flight corrections simply weren't possible. On top of that, there was no artificial lighting inside the jets. The only source of illumination was whatever natural light the sun provided. Tom understood these challenges better than anyone, so he did everything in his power to ensure the actors weren't just memorizing lines, they were mastering cinematic self-direction. Miles Teller.
Very intense. You get blindfolded, strapped to a chair, water fills up, they submerge you, spin you upside down, you gotta get out.
According to Miles Teller, stepping into the role of Let Bradley, Rooster Bradshaw wasn't just about being on a film with Tom Cruise and perfecting a cocky pilot swagger. It started with proving he had the physical grit to even be in the cockpit. Before he and the other actors could set foot inside an FA-18 jets, they were required to pass intense physical and medical tests designed for actual Navy aviators. They don't just let anybody hop into these jets, Teller explained. We had to go through real Navy-approved screenings, vision checks, lung capacity tests, heart monitoring, even Air Force tolerance. They put you in this centrifuge-like environment to see if you can stay conscious when your body feels like it weighs 8 times more than it actually does. If you can't handle that, you're done. You don't fly. Teller admitted that it was one of the most physically demanding challenges of his career. You're sweating before you even get in the plane, he said. And if you fail, there's no stunt double for you in the air. You just won't be in those scenes.
You might have whispered it to yourself.
How many times did I
never
say
said it out loud to me, Tom.
I told you.
Guess what? Teller's argument with Tom Cruise during an interview revealed most actors' fears about working with Tom Cruise. Teller revealed that before arriving on set, none of the cast had been told they would actually be flying in the jets themselves. Cruise had kept that detail under wraps, letting the reality sink in only when it was too late to back out. Of course, the preparation was not the only part of what fans didn't notice. There was also Rooster's now famous mustache, which instantly became a signature look for the character. While audiences loved it, saying that it made him look even hotter in the film, Teller said the person closest to him was not a fan. "My wife hated it," he laughed during an interview. He revealed that the only reason his wife put up with the mustache was because it was part of the job, but she was counting the days until he shaved it off. "The moment we wrapped filming, that mustache was gone. I think she celebrated more than I did," he shared.
No, I came up with it. They had another call sign in there originally, and I just said, hey, if I...
Another surprising revelation from Teller was that he personally came up with the call sign Rooster. While the film's writers had several ideas, Teller felt a personal connection to choosing it himself. "It just made sense," he explained. For him, Rooster keeps the bird theme from Goose, his character's father in the original film. It's a subtle nod, but it also feels like a name a real pilot would have. It has personality without being cheesy, so he pitched it, and luckily, everyone loved it enough to make it official.
I was like, well, Tom, it turns out I have jet fuel in my blood.
According to Teller, he experienced one of the most unexpected and intense health scares of his life while shooting the film. After landing from what was meant to be a routine flight scene, Teller developed a sudden, severe reaction. His skin broke out in hives, turned bright red, and the itching became unbearable. Concerned by the sudden and severe reaction, Teller underwent medical testing, and the results were alarming. Traces of jet fuel were found in his bloodstream. It was the kind of news that could rattle anyone, but the moment he shared it with Tom Cruise became just as unforgettable. Instead of reacting with worry, Cruise delivered a perfectly timed, unexpected line that left Teller speechless. With a grin, Cruise told him he had been born with jet fuel in his system. Monica Barbaro.
I think that was probably the hardest thing.
What an answer. That
was good.
Phenomenal. I mean, what can you...
Though great at stunts, Barbaro knew the role would push her to her limits, but she had no idea just how hard the experience would be until the day Tom Cruise himself climbed into an FA-18 for the first time. It was one of the most anticipated moments on set. The crew, the Navy pilots, and the cast all gathered to watch. For Barbaro, the excitement was mixed with pure nerves. She later revealed that her legs were literally shaking as she stood there, knowing she was about to watch the man leading the entire production put himself through the same aerial maneuvers they were all training for. When Cruise returned from the flight and came over to greet the cast, he noticed and concerned. He asked her if she was okay. For Barbaro, the simple gesture spoke volumes. But apart from that, Barbaro admitted that one of the biggest secrets from behind the scenes was how often actors were getting sick in the cockpit and going to great lengths to hide it. The training had prepared them for the Air Forces, but nothing could completely eliminate the toll those forces took on the human body. Some actors would discreetly vomit mid-flight, determined not to let anyone see them break.
Just so you know, this person's been throwing up every flight. Like, we kept it low. We're gonna spread it.
She didn't stop there. Barbara revealed that actors sometimes had to duck away and change into a fresh flight suit in hidden corners or behind equipment, doing their best to be quick and unnoticed. Fans only see the flawless, adrenaline-charged performances, smooth landings, confident smiles, and sharp banter in the ready room. What they don't see is the cast's quiet battle with motion sickness, the scramble to change costumes without a hitch, and the moments of vulnerability, like Barbaro's shaking legs, that came with working under such intense and unusual conditions. Greg Tarzan Davis.
Please tell me at some point you got into one of the planes and went for a ride.
I wish. No, I did not get to.
According to Davis, one of the things fans never realized was that he went from being a school teacher to becoming a celebrity actor in just 2 years. For a relatively new actor making such a massive career jump, having Cruise's guidance was invaluable, he shared. Beneath the perfectly curated character fans loved in the film lay a young man who has a history of being an elementary school teacher. Acting had always been a dream, but for years, it was something he pursued in between school terms or after the final bell rang. The idea of starring in a blockbuster, let alone one alongside the world's biggest action star, felt distant and almost impossible. That changed when he made the decision to chase acting full-time. It was a risky move, but one that would eventually put him in the running for Top Gun, Maverick. Davis has revealed that the audition process was intense, and at the time, he didn't even know exactly what project he was reading for, only that it was big. When the call came confirming he'd been cast as JV Coyote Machado, the reality started to seem like a dream. He was about to be part of a Top Gun sequel, and he'd be working with Tom Cruise alongside other known actors that he never imagined he would work with. Jennifer Connelly.
It came with a waiver that we had to sign that we weren't afraid of flying, is what the audition came with.
Connelly, who played Penny Benjamin, revealed that, unlike the rest of the cast, her role didn't involve any flight movements. She had just survived a traumatic flight experience and agreed to play Penny because Penny was a character that was never meant to be seen in the air. But that didn't mean she'd be spared the thrill, or in her case, the shock of going fast. One of her key scenes involved Maverick taking Penny for a ride on his jet. On paper, it was supposed to be a smooth, leisurely sequence, a romantic and relaxed counterpoint to the aerial action. But when it came time to shoot, Tom Cruise decided to bring his own trademark energy to the moment. Instead of moving along the runway at a calm pace, he caught the wind just right, sending the jet above the ground at a much faster clip than Connelly had anticipated. That's when she realized she was holding on for dear life, literally. She described it as the slowest death grip she had ever experienced. Her knuckles turned white as she clung to the edge of the cockpit, trying to maintain her composure while the cameras rolled. The irony? The scene became one of the best she shot with Maverick in the film. Connelly admitted that she had to silently coach herself through the scene, loosening her hold just enough to look natural while still making sure she wouldn't slip. What fans saw in the final cut was effortless charm and relaxed chemistry between Penny and Maverick. What they didn't see was Connelly's internal struggle to keep her balance, stay in character, and not break into nervous laughter as Cruise confidently flew the jet at full tilt. Jay Ellis.
We're all very competitive. So it's also a thing of like, once we understood.
For Ellis, one of the toughest and most competitive tests of the entire shoot had nothing to do with the struggles in a fighter jet. It had to do with the beach. Ellis revealed that the now famous beach football scene, the film's nod to the iconic volleyball sequence from the original Top Gun, became a mission in itself for the cast. As soon as they learned it was happening, everyone shifted into a different kind of training mode. The focus was no no longer just about flying and stunt work, it was about looking like you belonged in a blockbuster beach shot that would be immortalized on the big screen. To get there, the cast went on strict diets and ramped up their workouts. Meals were carefully planned, sugar and alcohol were off the table, and every spare moment between jet training and rehearsals became an opportunity to hit the gym. According to Ellis, the energy on set turned into a kind of friendly rivalry. Everyone was aware that this scene would showcase their hard work, and no one wanted to be the one who looked like they hadn't put in the hours.
We're gonna have to reshoot that again in like a week or two. There was just some stuff that didn't work in there, so we're gonna have to redo that. And everyone was like,
But just when they thought the mission was accomplished, they were told the beach scene needed to be shot twice. The first one looked great, but director Joseph Kosinski wanted to tweak the lighting and pacing, which meant the cast had to get back into peak beach shape all over again. The strict diet and intense workouts were back on, and the pressure was even higher now they knew exactly how much the cameras would capture. Ellis also shared that the guys made one key request before shooting. They wanted to film the scene shirtless. They had worked too hard sculpting their physiques to cover it all up. What started as a playful idea quickly became part of the scene's energy. That decision added another layer of competitiveness. Every flex, every run across the sand, every throw of the football became a subtle showcase of the hours they had spent training. In the end, the scene became more than just a bit of fan service, with most fans unaware about what really went on with that scene before it came to the screen. Have you seen Top Gun: Maverick? And what are your thoughts? Let's know your in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, like and share.